At the age of 32, a woman in Ukraine became the subject of widespread medical fascination and disbelief as she continued growing beyond what anyone thought was humanly possible. Standing at an astonishing 7 feet 10 inches, she was on the verge of becoming one of the tallest women ever recorded. Her extraordinary height was not the result of genetic anomalies, but rather the product of a severe medical condition, acromegaly, caused by a tumor in her pituitary gland that released dangerously high levels of growth hormone. Acromegaly is an extremely rare condition, affecting only about 60 people per million, and its effects are both dramatic and life-altering. This woman's case, however, was particularly unique due to the fact that her growth did not stop in childhood or adolescence like most cases. Instead, she continued to grow well into adulthood, a terrifying and perplexing development for both her and the medical professionals treating her. From the outside, her appearance was breathtaking. At nearly 8 feet tall, she towered over everyone, and her hands and feet had grown disproportionately, making it nearly impossible for her to complete basic daily tasks. Simple activities like eating, writing, or even getting dressed became monumental challenges. Her hands were so large that holding a glass or a pen felt like a Herculean task. Walking was an agonizing struggle as her joints became swollen and painful, and her spine curved, creating a hunchback-like appearance. As she grew, her body became increasingly contorted, and the burden of her immense size took a devastating toll on her overall health. Doctors who first examined her were puzzled by her condition. It was clear that something was seriously wrong, but why was she continuing to grow? The woman had seen many doctors over the years, but none had been able to offer a concrete explanation for her height. She had endured years of discomfort and pain, with her body expanding at a pace that was out of sync with her age. Her appearance, once normal, had begun to change drastically, and she was no longer the woman she once was. The condition was beginning to affect her quality of life, limiting her mobility and ability to perform even the most basic tasks. Finally, after years of unanswered questions, a group of specialists discovered the root cause of her condition: a massive pituitary adenoma, or a tumor in her pituitary gland which was secreting excessive amounts of growth hormone into her bloodstream. The tumor had been pressing on her brain for years, quietly causing her body to grow at an accelerated rate. The pituitary gland, often called the master gland, controls growth in the body, and when a tumor affects its function, it can result in extreme and uncontrolled growth, as seen in acromegaly. In her case, the tumor had been growing undetected for so long that it had wreaked havoc on her body, leaving her with irreversible damage. Upon diagnosis, the woman underwent surgery to remove the pituitary tumor in an attempt to halt her growth. The procedure was successful in stopping her from growing any further, but by that point, her body had already been permanently altered. The damage to her joints, spine, and internal organs was irreversible. She had become wheelchair-bound due to the excruciating pain caused by the abnormal curvature of her spine, which was now severely curved. Her joints were so swollen that even the simplest movements became an excruciating experience. And her heart, forced to pump blood through an enormous frame, struggled to function properly, leading to cardiovascular issues that further complicated her condition. The impact on her life was profound. No longer able to walk without assistance, she was confined to a wheelchair and could no longer do the things that most people take for granted. Despite her physical limitations, however, she remained determined to lead as normal a life as possible. Her story was one of perseverance in the face of an insurmountable medical condition, but also of frustration and sorrow. The very thing that made her unique, the giant stature, was the same thing that made her life so incredibly difficult. Her case caught the attention of medical experts from around the world, as her transformation into a giant seemed to defy nature itself. Many were left wondering why the tumor had remained undetected for so long. Acromegaly typically causes noticeable changes during childhood or adolescence, but in her case, the tumor had remained dormant for years before triggering rapid and unchecked growth in adulthood. The reasons for this delay in onset remain a medical mystery, as the condition often presents much earlier in life. Her case prompted renewed research into acromegaly and pituitary adenomas, as doctors sought to understand why some tumors remain undetected for so long, allowing the condition to reach such extreme levels. Though she is now living with the effects of acromegaly, her story is one of strength in the face of adversity. She has shared her experience with others, using her story to raise awareness about the condition and the importance of early detection. Despite the physical limitations and pain she faces on a daily basis, she remains an inspiration to others, showing them that, even in the most challenging circumstances, it's possible to maintain hope and resilience. Her case also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of ignoring medical symptoms and seeking appropriate treatment. The early detection of pituitary tumors is critical in preventing the kind of extreme growth she experienced, and her story emphasizes the importance of regular checkups and proper medical care. The woman who once stood out for her towering height is now remembered not just for her physical stature, but for her ability to overcome immense obstacles, both physical and emotional, and inspire others in the process. Her transformation into one of the tallest women in history is both awe-inspiring and heartbreaking, a tale of how a rare medical condition can shape the life of an individual in ways that are beyond comprehension. While the tumor may have stopped her from growing, the damage it caused remains with her forever. Yet, her story lives on as a reminder of the profound impact that medical conditions can have on individuals, and the incredible strength it takes to navigate such challenges.